Hey, it's Alan. Yeah, thanks for joining me on this episode of Pipeline to Profitability, the podcast for home service professionals. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Service Success Academy. Today, I'm joined by Billy Stevens. Now, besides being a serial entrepreneur, Billy is the CEO and founder of Sera Software and Billy Go. Now, Billy's been on this podcast 3 times now. As well, we've done several workshops and we've always honed in on the areas that contractors really need to focus. Efficiencies, using the technology of software to get the most out of your business. We've touched on margin pricing versus flat rate pricing, and zero service fees. Now, this has sparked a lot of interest with everyone that's ever been part of the workshops or the podcasts. But today we have a really, really special announcement, especially for all our listeners down under. So stay tuned. Let's bring Billy into the podcast. I know you're going to have a lot of fun today. Well, I have to say I'm absolutely honored to have you back on the podcast, Billy. So thank you for joining me. And so what's happening in your world at the moment?
Oh man, actually, just glad to see some sunshine in Dallas, Texas over the last couple of days. Man, we got about 10 inches of rain. It's been crazy, and just glad to see the sun today.
Rain, and also you had an eclipse, which apparently was part of global warming. So I heard.
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah.
Yeah. So
It
besides
actually made the water in our toilet spin the other way, like they do where you're from.
yeah, it was actually Charlie Greer when he came down under him in 2010. He had to know, and yeah, apparently he's right. The water does
Ah,
spin the other way.
that's right.
So yeah, I'd love to with this is I think this is the fourth podcast we've done together. And I'd love to go deeper in regards to some of the things we've touched on. So we've talked about margin pricing, zero dispatch fees, efficiencies, simplified incentive plans. I'm happy to kick this off wherever you feel would be the best place to start. It's about, I mean, as you know, this is a podcast for our Australian friends as well as all of our friends here in the US and Canada. So what do you think? And by the way, before I hand the mic over, I love your podcast with Landon. No BS, obviously, named after, your name, BS.
No, not really. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm full of something.
Well, yeah, well. We'll move on from that because our listeners probably don't want to hear that. But so what rabbit hole would you like to venture down today, my man?
Man, I have so many things going on, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk on your show, and I really respect all the stuff you do. I love your content. I think you do a fantastic job, even with that crazy accent, which everybody likes. We love listening to the guys talk like you talk, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the friendship that we developed and stuff over time and getting to know you has been very important. So I love coming on the show, trying to give some insight and help some folks that have helped us. I've been very fortunate and been able to grow a few businesses that have been, extremely profitable and successful. And so I just want to talk a little bit about some of the easy things that you can do today. And that's the beauty of the businesses that we own now or operate now is we can make a change today and it will actually show up tomorrow and actually be something that you can touch and feel. It'll be a live thing. And that's why I love the trade so much. And if you're in residential services, that basically what we're talking about is residential commercial service as well. You know that if you do work today, you get paid today, which helps us run businesses because we have cash available. And there's not many businesses like that in the world, you may have a fast food or a restaurant and you're getting paid as well, but then you got this, all the things that go with that, which could help, but the majority of your money goes to, the building, rent and all that stuff. But in the trades, we can take that money and put it back to work. And we can increase the amount of money we make, not necessarily just by charging more money, but by using efficiency and making efficiency the core of the business. And so with that being said, I'd like to focus today a little bit on, I guess what we can focus on today is let's just talk a little bit about dispatch fees, memberships, and margins if we get to it. I know we only have 30 minutes, but we got to stop putting barriers up, keeping customers from calling us. All I hear from contractors is I need more work. If I had more work, I could grow my business. And here's what I see when I go into these businesses. And I apologize if you get offended by me telling the truth, but here's what's happening. We're spending a ton of money to get work, and then we're not doing a very good job of getting the work when they call. We're losing a good bit of our conversations or our calls on the phone call, and we need to improve that first. Don't go running to your people doing your marketing for you and say I need more calls when you're not even getting the calls that are coming in and booking them. And you're going to have to record these and listen and teach your people how to book calls. Cause I'm telling you right now, if you're not doing this, you're losing 4 out of 10 opportunities right off the bat. Second thing you need to do, and you need to do this today, you need to stop charging dispatch fees. Dispatch fees are another reason why you don't have calls. People don't want to pay these fees. And if you have the right software that can help you price in your business model what exactly you need to charge for stuff, you can put enough money into those tasks that you have, very small amount of money, and spread it out over all customers and pay for dispatch fees more than what you would be getting if you charge the fee. Why were dispatch fees even created? It was to deter people from doing business from you. Oh, you won't pay the dispatch fee? Then we're not coming. You must not be able to afford our work. That's terrible. That's just absolutely terrible. I haven't charged a dispatch fee in over 5 years, going on year 6, 30-something thousand customers in 5 years. No customers on day one. I spend 3.5% on my marketing budget. All I do is every single ad I have, I put no dispatch fees. The next thing that I do is I put 1-hour appointments. We have terrible service in this industry. Terrible. The worst of any industry there is. And all we do is brag about how our company's good and we take care of our customers. We're not taking care of your customers. Sorry, I'm just being real again. We're not taking care of our customers. Not in a way that we can. We're in a just in time lifestyle now. We want to push a button and get something. This is the mentality of everyone now. And we're sitting around waiting for a call to happen on the telephone. And then we can't tell them a reasonable time when we can get there. And everybody else is going, hey, just push the button. You want a car? You want food? You want to do anything? You want your banking done? Whatever you're going to do, you're going to use a app on your phone and you're going to get it done quickly. Here we are going, I've got a dispatch fee. Don't bother me if you don't pay it. I don't know when I can get there. I haven't really earned your business, but I'm going to charge you a dispatch fee with my bad service and not even earning your business. We have got to get better about being a service company. That's what you are. You're a service company and you've forgotten about the customer. That's what we've done. We have forgotten about the customer. We're just thinking about how much we can make, not about the actual situation that this person is going through. And this is stuff you can fix right now today. You can change the entire mentality in your company today. As soon as this thing's over, you watch this for 30 minutes, you need to go right in your office and you need to start making these changes. How do you do that without pissing people off? Your employees, right? Well, you got to explain it to them. You have to make them understand what you're wanting to do with your business. If you're wanting to really create a service business and you want it to grow and you want it to take care of you and your family and your employees like never before imagined, this is where you do it. This is all I do different. I'm not that smart. I'm really not. I just do the little things that no one else is really able to do. There's a quote that I love, and it is probably one of my favorite quotes, and you probably never even heard of it, but to me, it means a lot. And I love this quote, and I want you to let this sink in for a second. But the magic that you are expecting isn't the work that you are avoiding. Think about that for a second. The work that you're not doing The little things that we don't like to do is the difference between having a really successful company and just another company, or maybe a failing company. It's the magic comes from the work that you are avoiding. And that's all I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just little bitty things that you can go and fix right now that will make a difference in your business tomorrow, today, even, if you get this done. So get to your marketing people, if it's yourself or whoever it may be. Let's get the no dispatch feeds put on there immediately. You need to get a demo of Sera, Sera.tech. That's the address, www.sera.tech. The reason why you need to do that, because you cannot manage 1 hour appointments, 2 hour appointments, 3 hour appointments, whatever you want to do. You can't manage them unless you have software that can do it for you. There's too many moving pieces. Your software needs to know where your guys are. Your software needs to know what capabilities they have. Your software needs to know that there are 30 more minutes before they're finished doing the job that they're currently on. And nobody has to call and ask them. It needs to know that. And when it knows this information and a customer wants to book something online quickly, we only ask one question. How can we help you? And if you do that, your phones are going to ring off the wall and you can forget about the economy. We grew 30% last year. We're growing 40 something percent this year. I don't even care about what the economy's doing, because all I'm doing is exactly what I'm talking about right now. That's all I'm doing.
Love it, Billy. You've thrown so much at us, and I just want to absorb some of that. Now, anyone that's listening in, I just want you to know that I've known Billy. I think we met 2018. At the time, I was actively trying to bring another software product to Australia, and we'll talk about Sera and the expansion as we move into the podcast. But I was actually involved with your number one competitor, trying to bring it down under, and just couldn't make it happen. And then I don't know who introduced us, but we got chatting. I know you're a busy man, and I think it was at the time when you started Billy Go, and then Sera, I think, at the same time. And I reached out to you. You were kind enough to take my call, and we started chatting, and we've developed a friendship. And I do consider you a friend, and we are very much on the same page. So everyone that's listening here, I just want to say I've actually been to Billy Go headquarters in Texas. I've actually seen the business in full operation. It is like a ghost town at your office. I don't know how many trucks you got on the road or how many techs. I was honored to be able to spend time with your amazing technicians. And just also everyone that's listening, there's nothing different about your technicians. I've worked with hundreds of companies over the years. They're average guys. They have the same, how do you deal with the price objection? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I was absolutely honored to have spent time with your guys. But one thing I learned, besides I've been following you and your software for a while, and I've actually recommended some of my clients that are actually using it. And I had a conversation with Rod today, and he friggin' loves what it's doing to his business.
It's blowing up.
I don't think he's at 30. I mean, your business is a 30% net business. That's in the top 1%, maybe even top 1,000% of the industry. And I believe that your software has a lot to do with that. Now, something that fascinated me, and I know I talk about this in when I get on with other like-minded, successful entrepreneurs, contractors, is that your software has removed 25 touch points. Am I right in saying that, Billy? Or it's something like that? And you might want to explain that, because efficiencies is where nearly every business that's tuning in today is going to improve, right? So
yeah. Just in the call taking, running a service call takes a village in today's world, the way we run our companies. And I don't want a village at my office. I just want a few people. So, and so, Billy goes, we'll probably go past 20 million this year. I've got 4 ladies in the office, running a $20 million business, and that's unheard of. And they're less worked and less stressed than most companies that have 3 times that many people and half the revenue. And so how do we do that? We use software to work in the business, and then we get our employees to work on it. And that's why when you say you walk in there and it's just complete silence, basically, it's like there's really not a business going on. And to me, that's success. I don't want all the hair on fire that goes on in these companies every day. I want organization and productivity and at 100% efficiency if possible. Because I think you should be able to learn how to measure it and have software that can measure it. And so, a perfect example of what Alan's talking about is there's about 30 touches in a service call, just an average service call, 30 touches from anywhere from 4 to 8 different people. And, some of those 4 to 8 people touch it more than one time. So what I mean by that, I'll just give you an analogy of what I'm talking about. So customer calls in on the phone and the CSR enters the phone. That's the first touch. Okay. So that's normal. One touch. We've got a busy day going on. This is a pretty good customer and they've got an emergency. Maybe something's flooding, water's coming through the ceiling, whatever it is. It's a pretty big emergency. And we got a board full of work, and our dispatcher's already said, can't take any more work. We're busy. Everybody's busy. Everybody's out. And we got a really good customer that spent a lot of money with us. And that customer is 5 minutes away from having a new favorite plumbing company. I'm telling you right now, there is no loyalty in an emergency. And you worked hard to get this customer. And so what we do is we put the customer on hold. We're panicking. We're talking to the dispatcher. Dispatcher does what? So when she talks to the dispatcher about this situation, that's 2 touches. Now the dispatcher is getting on the phone and talking to either the service manager, another touch, or calling every single technician, or that service manager is calling every single technician to do one thing. How much longer are you going to be? We have a big emergency. We got to get somebody over there. And so these are the touches that just interrupt everyone's day. Those technicians are trying to do their job. Now they're on the phone with you talking about this situation. They're trying to find the owner of the company. There's another touch. Where is he at? Oh, I don't know. He leaves every day at 11 to come back. He's disconnected or whatever, So we can't get him to run over there, or maybe we can't, there's just all these different scenarios. And at the end of the day, if we had a good plan and knew how much longer those guys are going to be on the call, we could do something about it. If we had a plan and knew that there was a guy 5 miles away from the guy that's really best qualified to do this job, why can't we just send the other guy over to that customer where the guy at and let him leave and go do this big emergency? But you just need to know that. And the software is going to help you do that. And that's what the whole idea is how do we do the best thing, optimize the best calls for the situation? We have a customer that's spent thousands and thousands of dollars with us over years and years and years, and you're about to lose them. You're in a situation, you're fixing to lose that customer forever. And so you need technology to tell you that, I'm sorry, but this person spent $25,000 with us over the last 3 years. We gotta go. I'm on a call right now. It's only going to bring us $300. I'm sorry, Mrs. Jones, but I've got to leave. We'll figure this out, but I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Because I would make somebody leave another job to go do that job. I guarantee you. And you just need to know that information. And it's hard for a person to do that when they're calling around on the phone looking for technicians. They're calling customers, telling them they're on their way. They're calling service manager or the boss and saying, hey, I got this situation. These are all the touches that happen on these service calls that kill time and productivity. And we just get rid of them.
Wow. Yeah, very impressive how well I don't know enough about software to know how it works, but I feel that, I mean, if you told me that the efficiency of your business, 30% net profit, being able to charge less than the competition to actually achieve that. And that's a very interesting point, because that sort of contradicts usually, I'm from best practice, Nexstar, Service Nation, and usually the companies that are making north of 25% are usually the dearest guys in their market, right? Well, that was the old model. The fact of the matter is, I don't know where you rank throughout the market. Obviously, you're not going to compete with the the smaller guys that don't know how much they should be charging, but you're very competitive in your marketplace. You're putting 30% of the bottom line. You have, on average, $4 million of revenue for every person in the office. It's actually a dream model, and you contribute a lot of your efficiencies to the way the software runs your business, right?
It is. And, you can't build software like that unless you run a business. I'm one of you guys. I'm a master plumber. I had a company called Berkey's Plumbing back in 96. I was able to get it with no money in my pocket. It's just one of those things that worked out. I had no bad habits because I really didn't have any experience running a plumbing company or anything. So I designed things my own way, ran the thing for 16 years, partnered with a PE firm, used our platform to start a first PE firm in the industry. And then now it's taken off, and there's millions of PE firms all over the place trying to buy plumbing and HVAC companies. And so we need to run our companies. Even if you don't want to sell it, you need to run it like you're trying to sell it. And if you do that, you open up choices and opportunities. You can decide, do I want to keep that 30% every year, or do I want to get a multiple on that and just sell and be gone? Me personally, if I'm at 30%, they can't pay me enough. You just can't. It just makes too much money. And so that's what we want to show you what to do without raising prices. It's just knowing exactly what to charge. What people don't understand is maybe you have a 60% close rate, 50% close rate. Well, part of it might be because your pricing's wrong. What if you close 70% at a better price that really made sense? Not a discounted price, knowing your price that it should be, and it may be cheaper. I'm 3 miles from my old company that's part of one of the largest PE firms. Excuse me, losing my voice. I get excited when I talk about this stuff. I'm sorry. And this is my 4th podcast today, so I just want everybody
get excited,
to know.
Billy. Get excited.
Man, they got me all over the place right now.
Love it.
So anyway, 3 miles away from me is my old company, and my old company dominated this area. They did. And they're part of a multi-billion dollar PE firm now. And so they have money coming out of their ears to market, to take customers away from all of us, to do all of that stuff. And I just want you to know we're kicking their butts like crazy. And the reason why we're kicking their butts, they can't do any of the stuff that we're doing. They're having layoffs. We're hiring. It's a big difference. I want you to be hiring. You need to be finding plumbers right now, because there are plumbers starting to look, and they want to work. And you've got to do things to make sure you have work for them so you can grow your business. And I know they're looking for work because they're in our offices every day. And, you should be getting these folks that are out looking. They're tired of being a number. They don't want to be a number anymore. They want to go back to work for real operators instead of bankers. That's exactly what's happening. And we're seeing it quite a bit. And it's about time, right? It's kind of like an analogy I use is, remember when Walmart killed all the little downtowns in all those small little towns? Well, guess what's thriving now? All the little downtowns are the most popular places now, because they came back and they figured it out, and now they're winning again. And they're winning better than they were before Walmart came in. And so same thing with the trades. We're in that situation right now. Walmart came in, kind of took sucked all the talent out, brought in all the money to compete with us. And now the small town atmosphere, or the small businesses, is where people are wanting to gravitate back to after being a number for so long, where sell, sell, sell or die, sell, sell, sell or die. Let's run customer service companies that take care of customers. You'll make way more money that way, and it's not as stressful. I promise you that. I'm really, I'm 105 years old. I don't look like it. I'm not stressed out.
Who says?
I just feel like it.
Okay, so a couple of things. I want to turn the clock back for me in Australia to about 12 years ago. We introduced margin pricing, and I think it was the best thing we did, although we did keep using flat rate pricing because we didn't have a software product that could manage margin pricing. And I've been saying this for years, that if you can improve your efficiencies in your business by 1%, and you don't have to, you're just got to slowly get there. We don't get from, the industry average, let's call it a 40% efficiency to Billy Go, I'm guessing 98% efficiency. Well, I might jump into that a little bit because that is fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. Our efficiency is, I think, about 82% for the entire year of 2023, which is, in an industry that believes around 35%. So we're 50 points higher. And so that's like, it's more than double, right? So 70 would be double. And what that means is if I have one technician and I double his efficiency, I now have two, and it's only paying for one. And think about that, how nice that would be. So now you can pay him more, but yet you have the volume of two. And so it's a win-win. And you can only do that if you can measure this and you have efficiency in your business. And with the software, like Sera, because no other software measures any of this stuff. All those softwares are there to, be software, but this is a business software. This is an operating software. It helps you improve your business is what its whole purpose is. And it's easy. Let me explain to you guys flat rate versus, margin pricing. So at the end of the day, we still charge one price. So if it's something's $1,000 flat rate, you could just say it's $1,000 margin pricing. Okay. It's the same thing. But what is different is margin pricing identifies the cost of everything that you're doing, where flat rate pricing is, all right, add all this stuff up, divided by this, multiply it by that, factor a square root of this, and then, oh, okay, well, that number's too high, so let's divide it by 2. There's no science in that. It's a bunch of guesswork. All right. The difference is margin pricing is based off of what's on your financial statements. So if you don't look at financial statements, it's basically your gross profit or your cost of goods sold is all we're looking at. And then we're building our pricing off of that so that we can affect them and improve them on your financial statement. Very simple to do. So for an analogy I like to use, you have a vegetable soup and it has all these ingredients in it. That's flat rate pricing. If margin pricing is you have the same vegetable soup, but you know how many pieces of carrot, you know how much celery is in there, you know how many pieces of beef are in there, and how much volume of the sauce is in there, if you will. That's the difference. We identify everything so that we can see if we're improving it. Or we're in flat rate, it's just soup that you just don't know how much of anything is. And so when we go bragging, we're $400 an hour flat rate or $500 an hour flat rate. Well, I just asked a simple question. So what's your labor cost in that flat rate price? Nobody knows. They think it's $400, and that is not the case. That is not what it is. And so we're just identifying these numbers, and we built a price book in Sera that you can actually rebuild on all your pricing and everything in 2 or 3 minutes. It's very easy to do. And that is really one of the most important things that we can do, in our businesses. We need to know how to price our products, and we need to get them right. And if you're off by $50, you might sell it 7 out of 10 times. But if you move that $50 and you're right on the money, you may sell it 9 out of 10 times. That's what we're trying to do. It's knowing where you need to be.
Absolutely love it. And like I said, margin pricing, we just did it in an Excel worksheet. So I use margin pricing for larger projects. I knew the gross margin I was aiming for. I knew my labor cost. I had all the numbers. We just created. Actually, I've created an Excel worksheet for all the members in my coaching group, $1 Million Drainer. It's called the No BS Margin Price Calculator. Now, I named that before I met you, my man. But so
I don't care.
I'm joking. Now, those that have been following me for any amount of time know that I was instrumental in bringing flat rate pricing to Australia around 2005. There was another company doing it, but I think he had 2-3 companies. We eventually had over 1,000 users of our flat rate pricing, which was based off Flat Rate Plus. Then we bought best practice. The best practice, the real best practice from the US being Service Roundtable. We tried with Nexstar and they weren't ready. And now I want to announce to everyone that we are bringing Sera software to Australia. And I know there's going to be a lot of excitement. I've had a lot of companies asking me, when is it coming to Australia? Well, I've been busting your balls for how long now?
5 years.
Yes. So since we met, and I'm proud to announce that it's happening now. I have a question to you. This question was put to me when a company called Roto-Rooter came to Australia. They brought flat rate pricing. It was before me. They failed in Australia. And then everyone said flat rate pricing won't work in Australia. Okay. I just had to go and prove them wrong. Will Sera work in Australia? That's my question to you, Billy.
I don't know. We're in a whole nother hemisphere. No. Well, I don't know if we can build any accents like yours into it, but I'm sure we could try. Yeah, great question. I'm just being funny. I apologize for all the comedy that maybe only I'm laughing at. So, um, so I think Sarah's going to do fantastic in Australia. And the reason why we're even considering it is because I'm getting, as you know, so many people from Australia are just like absolutely begging and for us to come there. And not only that, there's so many people from Australia that has actually flown all the way here to Texas to see Billy Go and Sarah in action. And there's so many people in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, or Houston or Austin that haven't even driven up to come see what we do. And you really need to come. If people are flying halfway around the world just to land just to see your operation and it's in your backyard, you need to come see what we do. We have an open door policy and we're there to help you. Every single employee will sit with you and show you what we do. We don't hide anything. We're there for your success. Same thing in Australia. This is going to give me a great opportunity to come to Australia. I've always wanted to do it. I have never been there. And so we need, a bunch of contractors that, want to sign up and get involved with Sarah, and we'll bring it over there. We'll get it to you here very shortly. Once we see, all the demand that's coming from it. I know that there was another product released over there, and there's been a lot of pushback, I believe, from some of the information that you've shared with me. And therefore we're like, okay, if we're having problems, which from doing something really hard, why don't we just give them a simple solution? And that's Sarah. And I'm very excited. I mean, I'll be honest with you, everyone listening, he's been beating me up for about 5 years on this, and I keep going, and I got so much going on here in America. What the heck am I going to do in Australia? But he's finally relented, and we have the capability to make this amazing. And I'm telling you, if you're listening to this and you live in Australia, this is really going to help your business prosper. This is really how it should be done. And we're going to simplify your business, and we're going to make it very profitable for you. And we'll actually hold your hand through the whole process. That's what Sarah does. We don't give you software and say good luck and leave and never hear from you after we sell you. We're actually there to help you be successful. I got back into this to help other contractors and to do what I had to do to promote my product, to get this information in their hands, because it works, and it works fast. And we've proven it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times with people here in the States in the short amount of time that we actually been live. We literally have only been on the market for 2 years now. Mm-hmm. And very short time. Our competitors are 10, 12 years ahead of us. And I feel like we're within 8 to 12 months to being 10 years ahead of them.
I know. Look, I've seen what you've done in the last few years, and it's nothing short of amazing. So, no, look, when I asked, will it work in Australia, I was joking. I know that it will, because
y'all have toilets over there yet?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that going on. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's
not quite.
I should have asked that before. I should have asked that before I started the development over there. So
yeah, look, we that's something we can work on. But yeah, I think it's the integration with the accounting products, and I think the APIs and everything's so advanced now. It's so much. I think it's so much easier to do now than it was, say, 10 years ago when I first started to bring other products to Australia. So I'd be honored to be able to help you find a company to work with in Australia and make this happen. And really do appreciate you, Billy, and what you're about. You've pretty much ticked off some of the things that I really wanted to touch on today. Was your margin pricing versus flat rate pricing, the zero dispatch fees. I've had some arguments on that point, but I'm with you. Because we've tested it. We had great results. We haven't touched on the simplified paid plans, but then you referred to it with your efficiencies allows you to pay your technicians more. What technicians don't want to earn more by being efficient, and using the Sera software is going to help that become a reality. So I think we've covered everything off, and I am very grateful to you, Billy, for not just what you have done for me in the podcast and being part of our group, but what you've actually done for the industry. So I want to thank you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. I love this industry. I mean, this is my life, and I love giving back. I'm just blessed the fact that I can do that. You know, that my goals in life have definitely changed since the early days when it was just trying to put food on the table, and then it moved into, you know, a little comfort, and then got to take a good break from my former successes, and then during that break, I just was just eating me alive that I wasn't out there helping contractors get better. And so I decided to put a lot of effort and money into a software, and we're taking off. I mean, we're doing awesome.
Love it.
Thank you.
Just one more thing. I've often wondered how you come up with the name Billy Go as for your service company. Maybe we can finish off with that.
Well, yeah. So this is a pretty funny story, actually, and I am at home, and my wife is here, and she may demonstrate what I'm about to tell you if she doesn't realize I'm on the podcast. So I was fortunate enough that when I sold my company the first time, I was able to retire at a very young age, and that's not always a great thing. Definitely wasn't for me. I did take a few years off, and really didn't really think about work or anything during that time. And my wife was getting a little fed up with me being around a lot, and she kept saying, just in general, like, Billy, go take out the trash. Billy, go to do this. Billy, go do that. And so one day I was just like, man, let Billy go. I keep hearing it. And my nephew walked in the door. He just came in the door. You know, we leave the doors unlocked, and the people just walk in all the time. And he walks in the door, and I talked to him for a minute, and then I had to go jump on the call, and I heard him say to my wife, he goes, "Aunt Stacy, where did Billy go?" And then that's when it all clicked, because I've been hearing Billy go do this, Billy go do that. And so I jumped on GoDaddy, and I typed in billygo.com, and I bought it for like, I don't know, $30. And I've been offered 7 figures just for that .com. Wow. That I paid $50 for. Yeah, it's crazy. And just something stupid like that. Why is it important? Or why are we even talking about the name Billy Go? Is because it's not like everything else. When we talk to people that pick us, you know, on the internet, you know, you got LSA. So there's 3 different companies there. And then you're on page 1, and there's 10 different companies, right? You want to be positioned 1 through 10 on SEO. But what we hear more often than not is, it just was a fun sounding name. Y'all sounded different, so you must be different. And that's all it really comes down to. And so if I can give any advice to anyone out there, make a name that's unique, but very simple and short. Don't make it long. Stop using your last names. If you're starting a new business, let's not use your last names anymore. But don't call yourself some big long name that people can't remember. Make it short and sweet and catchy.
Perfect. Great. Appreciate you sharing that. Appreciate you being on the podcast. Great news about Australia. I know, you know, we'll find someone for you to work with that will make it happen. And yeah, thanks again, Billy. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone for tuning in on another great episode of Pipeline to Profitability. And yeah, look forward to catching you, Billy, and our listeners very soon.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Thanks, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy day.